Christabel, we are live. You can start with the moderation.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Christabel Appiah. I am a fellow with Women Ascension's HR Fellowship Program. Our 16-week hands-on HR training initiative built to equip the next generation of HR professionals with the practical skills and real-world exposure they need to make a genuine impact. It is a program I am honored to be part of, and today it is my privilege to moderate this session. We are now in section 3 of the Women Ascension 1 Million Leadership 2030 HR and Inclusive Leadership Series, a 6-part journey running through to 16th April. At its core, this series exists to move beyond theory and into conversations that are practical, honest, and built for the world we are actually working in service of more ethical, inclusive, and sustainable workplaces. Now, think about the last skill you deliberately went out and learned. Not because someone told you to, because you knew the world was moving and you needed to move with it. That instinct to keep growing, to keep learning, to refuse to become yesterday's version of yourself is exactly what today's conversation is about. Upskill or fade out. How continuous learning drives sustainable growth. It's a session about staying relevant in an economy that does not wait. We will dig into why lifelong learning is no longer optional, how organizations can build genuine learning cultures, what digital tools and AI mean for workforce development, and what skills young professionals must be building right now to stay ahead. So, to lead us through this, we have someone whose entire career is a living argument for the power of continuous learning. Abimbola Agboola is a certified HR professional with nearly 10 years of progressive experience across consulting and industry. Her expertise lies at the intersection of performance management, talent development, and learning and development. And what sets her apart is her ability to connect these areas directly to business strategy. She does not design L&D programs in isolation. She builds them to move organizations forward. Beyond her professional work, Abimbola is an author of 2 books, a public speaker, and a committed volunteer. Someone who clearly believes that learning is not just something that happens in the workplace, but something that must ripple outward. She is in every sense the right person for this conversation. So, 2 quick notes before we begin. With our microphones, please keep your mics muted throughout the session to ensure we all hear clearly. And secondly, with questions, post them in the chat as they come to you. We will work through them in the Q&A at the end, or you are welcome to ask Abimbola directly. Let us begin. Abimbola, we are delighted to have you. Please go ahead. We can begin now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. You're all welcome to today's session. I am Abimbola, like you've rightly introduced me, and I'm privileged to be part of today's session. So today, our topic for today is upskill or fade out. Our moderator has really done a good work on preparing the ground, which I'll just ride on. So the key thing that we'll be discussing today is literally how continuous learning is tied to your growth as a professional. And before we go on, I'll just like to interact with you. Please put in the chat box where you are joining us from and what field of HR you are in. What do you do? What really do you do? Are you a human resource enthusiast? Are you practicing HR? Just type in the chat box. where you're joining from, and what you do. Okay, so I'm just going through. Okay, so I have somebody joining from Afghanistan. You're welcome, Busra. Okay, hello, Queen, joining from South Africa. It's good to have you here. Hi, Shariza. Okay, you come from Malaysia. Oh, great. So good to see that we have people from all over. Okay, I have somebody that is a cybersecurity and AI security leader. Great to have you here. Okay, we have Parwana here. You're a school student. Great. Okay, so good to have, everyone. So that was just to ensure that I understand who and who is in the room so that we can have this tailor-made for you all. All right, so let's just get to it. So thanks for introducing yourself. Okay, so what exactly would we be covering today? So at the end of today's session, you'll be able to understand why continuous learning is important for you. As a professional, you learn how to build strong learning culture because it's important that you see yourself and have a culture of learning. We'll also touch on effective ways that you can develop. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. Let's do this. Okay. 1 minute, sorry. Okay. All right. So at the end of today's session, you'll be able to we'll touch on effective ways to develop skills at work. And then we'll also touch on AI and digital to support learning. And you'll also be able to identify key skills that you need as a HR professional or as a professional, as it were, to stay relevant in today's world. So I'm going to ask us to, we're going to be co-creating this experience together. So if you have any question, just use the hand raise feature to ask the question. There will be a point for you to ask the question at the end of the session. When there is a point for you to share your opinion, please ensure you use the hand raise feature to share your point. We'll be making use of the comments section a lot. So please ensure you drop in your points. It's an experience that we'll be co-creating together. So I want you to be as honest and respectful to others as possible. So my first question to you is, when was the last time that you learned something new on purpose? I want you to type in the chat box. Was it this week that you learned something? Was it this month? Was it this year? Or you really can't remember the last time that you learned anything? When was the last time that you learned something? Was it this week? Was it this month? Was it this year? Or you really can't remember? Let me see. Okay, so I see someone that said this week, today, last year, this week. Okay, great. So we have a couple of people that learned something this week. In fact, we have somebody that learned something every day, which is important, which is the key part that we are talking about today. Okay, so I'll just call someone to share what they learned this week. Okay, so Parwana, please unmute your mic and share with us what was the thing that you learned this week. Please unmute your mic.
So, yeah, I'm able. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. So thank you first for giving me time to speak. And about what I've learned this week was about the calculus part, which is math. And I've understand about logarithm, which was a really little bit hard for me, but I truly could understand it through YouTube and by the help of my teacher.
Oh, great. So I'll take it that are you in school?
Yeah, I'm studying in
Okay.
a school, but unfortunately, since Afghanistan schools are not open, I'm studying in an online school.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so I also want to touch on someone that learns something every day. Dr. Shariza, please unmute your mic to speak. What did you learn today?
HIPAA. That one is related to my work, cybersecurity and AI security leader. but HIPAA is not using in Malaysia or other country, is only using for US. What is HIPAA is Health Information Privacy, which is actually is one of the ISO or compliant that we need to know when we dealing with insurance company, where all the data they reside in the US data center or in the US country. So that's why I'm mentioning that this is not related with my country or other country, it's just for US. But for cybersecurity or security reader, you need to understand also in the GRC side. I'm sure HR know about GRC, right? Government
Yeah.
Risk and Compliance, because we are auditing HR as well, because you guys involved with data and privacy, especially for the staff and customer, and also related to also the customer if you are financial institution, because I'm from financial institution background.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you for
yeah,
sharing. That
I'm
was
saying, yeah, am I saying so much? I think you will learn cybersecurity, not HR today. So that's all from my side.
thank you. Thanks for
Yeah, nice to
sharing.
meet you, Coach. I'm also
Yeah,
one
same
of
here.
the cybersecurity coach also as well.
Oh, great, great. Thanks for
Okay.
sharing.
Thanks.
It's
Thank
it
you.
it's so good to hear, from the two people that have shared. We've seen the importance of learning, because you can see that the people that shared, they're quite confident about the things that they learned. And that can be applied to your own work life as well, or your personal life. The more you learn, the more you are confident about yourself, the more you can speak confidently, the more you are relevant to your own work or to your own life, as it were, immediate life. So, this is just to land the point that it's important that you as a professional learn every day. If you're going to, you can also have a structured way to also learn. It could be get a key subject matter, you learn like 1 hour every week, or 1 hour every day, or 2 hours every week. Just ensure that, developing yourself or becoming better at one particular thing is something that is ingrained in you as a professional or as an individual. So thank you for sharing, Parwana and Dr. Shariza. Okay, so the truth is that skills really expire faster than before. What was really relevant to us, or what was relevant to you as an individual, like over 10 years ago, has really moved on, as it were. Because if we should think about it, about maybe like 50 years ago, or maybe like 100 years ago, people really could not think that they could have a mobile phone that they could carry around to just call someone in another country, and the person, you hear the person's voice immediately without just scribbling things on paper, like letter writing. But right now, there's a new, there's technology has moved, we can chat, all of that. And just take that to yourself as an individual, as a professional. There are skills that are becoming obsolete, because once you do not become better at your job, or you don't stay relevant, or you don't upskill yourself, you become redundant in your role, right? So it's important that continuous learning is a part of you as an individual, is ingrained into you, and you have a growth mindset about becoming better. So degrees are also no longer lifetime assets. In fact, as it is right now, the key thing is about your skills. Even though, we could have BSc, we could have MSc, you could have a PhD, but it's really about what can you do? What skills do you have? Because the degrees could get you into the job, but it's about the skills that you have that will help you, that will sustain you on that job. And if you now do not move with the tide, or you do not pivot with the times and get better, because as there is new technology and what have you, what really are you going to, how are you going to deliver value to yourself, or to your organization, or even to the society at large? And another thing is that there is the introduction of technology from time to time. Industries are being reshaped by technology. Before it was, like last year, it was ChatGPT that we're talking about. Right now, I'm sure you're aware of cloud AI that is really taking on things right now. And so that is how there will continuously be introduction of new things, new technology from time to time. And so you should look inwards at your own field and identify what are the new skills that I need to learn to become better at my job? One thing that you could do is to go online. You could research a particular, if you have a niche, like let's say an HR professional, say you're an HR manager, and you just look at, if you have been on a particular job for long, or you're just about entering that particular job, look at the job vacancies that you have, identify the skills, just go online and search for a particular job. And probably you can type in like HR manager on LinkedIn, or HR coordinator, or HR assistant. Identify the skills that are required. Look at yourself. Do you really have those skills? How do you get from a point B to a point, from a point A to a point B to become better, to have those skills? What are you going to do? Will you take courses? Are you going to read books? Are you going to speak to colleagues that have gone ahead of you? What really would you do? All of this is just to set the tone as we move on. Okay, so learning is actually no longer optional. It's how you survive in your professional life, or for you as an individual. You have to adapt, because as you adapt, you stay relevant. But if you stay stagnant, you become invisible in your own organization, or in your own field, or in the industry that you have selected. It's important that you continually grow and continuously learn, because the more you learn, the more you grow as a professional, or the more you grow as an individual yourself. And remember that the whole point of, oh, I'm a professional, everything starts from you, because it will definitely impact the organization that you select to work in. Even if you've not started working right now, if you're in school, it's the behavior that you have cultivated, or the mindset that you have, that you take to the job market or to the labor market, that will help you secure a job. So it's important that right now that you've even not gotten a job, or you've not landed a job, you begin to identify, oh, what career path do I want? What career path am I selecting? What are the skills that are required there? What courses do I need to take? How do I get better? In fact, it's not just about the tech part, it's also the soft skill. Do I need a critical thinking skill? How do I get better? How do I, become better at what I am right now? So it's really not about you, because if you do not have those skills, there's no way that you are be able to land a good job. And the whole point is you building a career path for yourself. So to survive, you need to have a mindset of continuous learning. So why continuous learning matters? The first thing is that there's been a lot of changes right now in the economy, in organizations. Like, things are changing. Like, how things were before is not the way it was before. For instance, starting my career, I was in the learning and development space, and it was really about developing slides. It was about creating trainings, creating scheduling learning plans. But as time moved, there came a point that people had to have access to trainings, or have access to courses from their homes, that they don't need to come to class. They don't need to be in a brick and mortar environment to learn. So what skill do I need to create those courses? What I now had to do was to learn a particular technology tool, or digital tool, which was called Articulate 360. So this particular tool is how it helps you create e-learns. Like, you have access to e-learns on maybe like on the learning management system. Just don't let me talk in the terminologies of L&D, but I had to learn a particular tool to help me become relevant. And right now, as it is, it's really relevant in the organization that I'm working at, or that I've worked at. So there's a lot of changes. The way things were before is not the way it is right now. And there's a lot of job disruption and automation. The things that you could not imagine before, for instance, you could not type, you might not be able to imagine that, oh, there would be a tool, maybe like a tech tool, that you'll be able to type in, oh, please help me reply this email in this particular way, or help me reward this particular text that I've written. You might not have thought about it that this could happen in the last like 10 years, but right now is the norm. It's like AI supports you, like it supports your work, although you're not using you're not, what's it called, it supports your role. It's not as if that's the only thing you're doing, but it helps you become better at your job. So if you do not know how to make use of that tool, tell me how you're going to stay relevant. So things are really changing. Times are changing. It's not the way it was before that it is now in organizations. There are new tools. There are new performance management tools that people use in organization. All of this is, it's in relation to whatever role that you have. But I believe that I'm speaking to HR professionals, except that I have somebody from the cybersecurity space. So you need to stay relevant. Identify the skills. Identify the digital tool that you need to learn that is required in your role, because it's not just about now, it's about you staying relevant in about 10 years from now. And another thing is for you to also advance in your career, because there will be opportunities, there could be promotions. Tell me how they would promote an individual that cannot add value to the organization if you are not staying relevant. For instance, for people that have been on a particular job for maybe like 10 years and are not getting better, they could get promoted, but they won't offer the best value to the organization. So it's important for you to advance in your career. It's important that you stay learning, ensure that you're learning, because that's how you become a leader of tomorrow. So one other question I have for you, I'll just want you to type it in the chat box. Just think through it first before you type. What skill made you valuable 3 years ago? And is this still enough today? Just think through yourself, maybe in your career life or your personal life. What skill made you valuable 3 years ago? Was it that, you could write great emails and nobody could beat you on that? And is it still enough today? Have you had to become better? Let me see you type in the chat box. Okay, so I have someone that said people skill. Do you think your people skill is still relevant? Is just that people skill, is it enough for you to be successful right now? Okay. Okay, so they said learning each day, and yes, okay, great. And so leadership and emotional intelligence. I like the fact that we're not just focusing on the digital tools or tech tools, but we also have the importance of building ourselves in the soft skill, in communication, and emotional intelligence. Those things are really important. Okay, someone said, when I started PhD, I got more valuable. It is still relevant today. So good. And so you took the point to learn, and then right now it's still relevant. That's great. Okay, someone said just cooking and baking. That's great. People make millions from cooking and baking. Then I later learned other skills. Great, because times keep changing. There are new, maybe like microwave. What's it called? Hair fryer was not a thing at the particular time. Right now, it's something that you could be using, right? And you have to learn how to use them. Okay, so I see presentation skills, communication, team building. That's so good, because you have to understand how to. Let me just talk to you on teamwork. For you to be successful, you also have to understand how to work with a team, because you cannot just be you all the time. You also have to work with a team. Okay, leadership, critical thinking. Degree may open the door, but it's your skills. Yeah, that's it. So leadership and teaching. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. And so you'll see that it's important that, you identify the skills that you have, but the beautiful thing is for you to also get better at it and take it a notch further to learn and be better at it. So thank you everyone for sharing. All right. So now let's go on to making learning a culture for you as an individual. One thing I want you to take note is that learning is part of work. It's not an extra thing. It's not an extra work, because oftentimes, say you are in a particular department and then you were asked to develop a report for using Excel for your line manager, and then you're trying to look for somebody that can just help you do it fast, rather than for you to take time to learn it. Because if you have to churn out another report the next time, how would you prepare it? So it's really not an extra work. It makes your work better. It makes you become a more valuable employee, or it makes you become a more valuable person to the people around you. So I'm trying to balance your professional life and your life as an individual, because even in our everyday life, we need to learn to become better. And it's not just about professional life alone. And one thing I want you to see is, once you see it as part of work, one thing, the mindset that you have is that you ensure that you're curious. Curiosity is very important because you have to learn. You have to have a curious mind to become better. And one thing I want you to do is, okay not to know how to use a tool. Like I talked about using Excel for developing maybe like an HR analytics report or something. Well, you have to give yourself permission to fail at first try. Okay, it's fine. You don't understand how to use that tool, but what would you do? You don't know how to do it, but you're going to try it again, and you're going to ask from someone to teach you, or you're going to take a course. So it's okay if you do not know how to do a particular thing, but you fail forward. What do you do next? Who do you reach out to? What resources do you have at your disposal? Who can you reach out to help you become better? And you also have to be focused on becoming better every day, because it's not just, a yearly thing that I have to learn something this year, but all of those things will culminate into a habit for you and become a habit that you do every day. So you have to be focused on becoming better, because once you have a mindset of being excellent at your job, you take every nitty-gritty, every tiny thing that you do, you want to be excellent, you want to become better at it. It will make you have a curious mindset to learn and become better. And it will definitely become a way of life for you. It's become a lifestyle. And learning has to become a lifestyle for you, because these are the key skills that you need to become a great leader, to become a great person, right? So now we'll go on to corporate training, and we'll touch on why most training fails or what works. So this is really geared towards you as a human resource professional. Probably you're training people, or maybe you're a volunteer training people, or maybe you are a mother training your children. I'm just trying to make it all rounded for you. Or you have a young sister that you're training. So I'm not just going to make you focus just on your professional life alone. But now let's talk about what the problem is with corporate training. So why most training fails? The first thing is that oftentimes it's too theoretical. And this is where the adult learning principles come in as a HR professional, because people have to see themselves in whatever learning, in whatever training, in whatever feedback that you are giving. It should not be too theoretical, whereby they cannot take it to the market to learn, or they cannot take it to their own personal life to apply it. So when it's too theoretical, it won't be easy to apply it to work. And if it's just a one-time event, like I talked about that, I want to learn just in a year, I want to learn something in a year. It's good, it's a skill, it's good, but it has to be something that you do consistently. It's not just supposed to be a one-time event. And when there's no follow-up, what would I do after this? How will I apply this course that I've done? Who am I going to engage to become better? If there's no follow-up, really, there's no sustainability. And if it's also not tied to if it's not linked to real work, oftentimes corporate training fails. So what really works is that you should learn, and then there's a point for you to apply it, and then there's a point for you to reflect, and then you repeat the cycle again. So if you learn something new, it's important for you to apply whatever thing that you've learned, and it's important for you to reflect on it. When you reflect, you see, these are the areas that I should have become better, which is where it comes to, I'm going to give an example. So say you finish this particular training. At the end of this training, there's going to be a feedback survey that could be shared. What are the areas that you enjoyed the most about the training? What are the areas that could be improved upon? And what have you? And it's now left to you to now go and apply all those learnings, right? So you make an effort not just to, so it's okay for you to, you've attended the training, but what will you do with the learnings after? Which is why it comes to a point for you to, at the end of any new thing that you learn, just pick like one new thing that you would apply consistently, and you will see that it will become a part of you. So what works in corporate training? Micro learning, because oftentimes there are courses, like there are e-learns that are very long, like maybe like 10-hour courses. And oftentimes in organizations, people do not complete them. You just start. It's like, you picked an apple and you just chewed. I don't know if you have a lot of e-learn courses that you're doing, maybe on Coursera, there are different LMS platforms that you could take them. It's just like you taking apple and chewing. You chew just, I don't know if you have a baby or you have a junior sister, like a baby of like 2 years or 1 year, or maybe not 1 year, 2 years or 3 years, that picked an apple, they chew a little, they pick the next one, chew a little, pick the third one, chew a little, and then there's a lot of apples that are unfinished, right? So what really works oftentimes in corporate training is, instead of giving the baby all of those one apples, ensure that is already diced, whereby the baby can pick a little. That is just a simple example of what micro learning is, because it becomes bite-sized learning, and whereby, you can take like a 5-minute course here. There are a lot. You can use LinkedIn Learning. If you have access to LinkedIn Learning, there are like 30-minute courses. It doesn't have to be like 10-hour courses, and there are certifications at the end of it, and you're getting better. So it just gives you a punchline of the things to get better at. If it's data analytics you want to learn, there are some courses on that on LinkedIn Learning that they are bite-sized, and it's also a form of learning. Another point is on the job learning, where you've been employed on the role, but there's there are new things that you are not familiar with, but you have somebody to reach out to, maybe like a line manager that can show you the ropes on how to get better at it. But you have the open mind that, I do not know how to do this, that you can reach out to someone to teach you, because that is something that and then you also learn to speak up when you are not clear on a particular thing. Those are the little habits, or the little traits that designates or separates a good worker from someone that is not just going to be like, or let me say, an effective worker from somebody that is not that effective, or a A player from somebody that is not an A player in the organization. And those are the people that get promoted oftentimes. And another point is to take note of the 7-20-10 model, where at work, 70% of it should be focused on your experience for you to get better. You are relating with your line manager. They are giving you lived experience. This is how to speak with this. Say you're in sales, this is how to speak with this particular client. Say you're in HR, this is how to speak with this stakeholder. This is how to speak with this particular business leader. This is how to relate with them. This is how to send the emails. And you're open to learning. So 70% of training should be experience. This is the real appropriate model for trainings or for learnings, is that 70% should be experience, 20% should be mentorship or feedback. This is the point of reaching out to maybe like your line manager or something. And 10% is the point whereby you're now going for formal training. It could be online courses, it could be classroom learnings, it could be in-person learnings, classroom learnings, and what have you. So this is the original model for corporate learning, and this is how it stays effective. And so if you see that the highest point of this particular model is experience, what you do every day, the experience you have consistently on your job, how you really do your work is really how you get better on your job, right? So whereby the person that resumed at maybe ABC company on this particular day is not the same person maybe like 1 year after, because of the experiences that they've had, the work they've done, they've become better at it. They can create slides, they can speak publicly. And it's a person that takes on the opportunities to do this work that will get better. If you keep running away from responsibilities, there's no way you get better. So what question I'll ask is, where does most of your learning come from today? Do you learn from people? Do you learn from online courses? Do you have, is it that you're doing a BSc? Where does most of your learning come from today? Please type it in the chat box. Okay, so someone said learn from trainer or people for today. Online courses, okay. Okay, so someone said this slide explains why many corporate training programs fail and what makes them effective. It says the traditional training often doesn't work because it's too theoretical. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Maboba says it is mostly through online courses and seminars. Barbara says online, YouTube, social media, and books. Thank you. Those are really good ways. I know oftentimes books is becoming extinct. It's not, people are really not reading a lot of books, but it's still a great way to learn. I know a lot of us, you do YouTube, social media, and what have you, but books are still a great point. Online courses are also great. Blended learning. Thank you, everyone. Bikanda says online training. Uzura says I learn from online courses and self-learning using my NIN. I don't know what that is, but thank you. Feria says blended learning. Elizabeth says mentorship online. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You know, I can see we're really very particular about improving ourselves and become better. Okay, Zainab said edX. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Group discussions are also, thank you, Mark. That's also another way to learn. All right. Okay, so the new digital learning approach. So thank you to everyone that talked about online courses and what have you. So learning right now is on demand. It's self-paced. You know, that's where the person someone talked about edX, there's Coursera, there's LinkedIn Learning. You're not being forced. You're not being you asked to come into a classroom anymore. It's on demand. You can access it. All you just need to do is maybe just to subscribe for LinkedIn Learning or what have you. But even if you've not used LinkedIn Learning before, I believe that they have like a 1 month free subscription where you can use it. So if you want to have access to it, just identify a particular skill that you want to become better at. So learning now is on demand, it's personalized, where this is where we have learning pathways. We have an example of that on LinkedIn, because he asks you for what career you are, how many years of experience, what industry you are in, and it generates a set of courses for you to take, and it becomes applicable to you. And at the end of each of those courses, you have certificates. It could be 20 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. Those are bite-sized learning, and it helps you. So, and what all of those things do is it makes you better, and it also makes you credible, because sometimes when you update your LinkedIn, you include some of those certificates. Although it's not a certificate that is doing, but it just makes you credible, but ensure that you gain the skill even in those courses. It's not just about the certificate. Let me just point that out. And learning is also continuous or global. It's borderless. You can learn. Right now, I know that somebody talked about, was it social media? Even LinkedIn alone, going on LinkedIn alone, there's a lot of things that you can learn from it. So the examples include online platforms. We talked about that, like edX, Coursera, mobile learning, short form content. Like there are different ways that you can learn right now. You can even learn from somebody that is directly beside you in the office, right? So just look for an avenue to ensure that you learn something new every day. And one thing to note is that the introduction of artificial intelligence is changing a lot of things right now in the learning landscape. So the first thing to talk about is, I already mentioned all of these things, is that AI is really accelerating learning right now. It helps you generate a personalized learning path. That's when I talked about LinkedIn Learning, that it asks you for your what's it called, your role, your how many years of experience, what industry you work in. It helps you generate things. So I remember when I did it generated a lot of things around emotional intelligence, leadership courses, data analytics, HR, employment laws, and what have you. It just helps you generate. So I advise you to use the LinkedIn Learning if you want to learn, if you want to become better at a particular thing. It also gives you instant feedback, and it also helps you generate content, all of those things. Although it's not just ChatGPT that will help you create probably like a module or an article, that's not the only thing. It helps you create a thought process around what you do, but it's also important for you to edit it so that it's not as if it's garbage in, garbage out, what ChatGPT has given you that you are giving out. But the risk is that oftentimes there's a lot of information overload. People are, you are just reviewing things. You ask AI to help you generate something, or maybe even it's LinkedIn Learning that you are just watching the courses, but you're really not learning, you're not jotting, you're not doing anything. It's not just about you saying, oh, I've now completed this course and I'm going to upload certificate, but the learning really take place. Are you just passively consuming the courses? Are you passively reading the book? Are you passively taking the online courses so that you can say, oh, this year I took like 5 certifications, I took like 5 courses on LinkedIn Learning. Whereas if they ask you to apply it at work, it's really not resulting. So the next point of after learning is for you to ensure that you apply it. And that could be in your everyday life. That could be in your everyday life at work. It could be in your relationship with people. So you learn something about emotional intelligence, right? With your team members, do you overreact when maybe something does not go your way? Or do you really okay, so I took a course on emotional intelligence. Oh, this is how I'm supposed to speak. I'm supposed to put myself in the shoe of the other person. This is how I'm expected to. Or you just, you're just all over the place. The point is you learn, but ensure you apply it and reflect on it. So at the end of maybe like 3 months, so I took this course. I've been able to apply it in like 3 scenarios. What are the things I could have done better? What are the areas that I could have become better? It is important for you to reflect. In fact, I know that a lot of introverts do a lot of reflection, like you just introspect. Oh, these are the 3 people I had encountered with today. What could I have done better? Which is why sometimes they say introverts make great leaders, right? What could I have done better? But oftentimes you are caught in the space of you now want to be perfect. But the point is, going back to the point, ensure that you reflect on the learnings, whereby you identify the areas to improve, and then you repeat the cycle and you become better. So now let's go on to what are the skills for the future. The first thing is human skills, right? I know we've talked about these things in one way or the other, but two important skills that you require is communication skills. People that can communicate really are going to go places because when you can communicate the thoughts that you have in your head, is easy for people to follow through on your conversations. It's easy for people to, have better conversations with you. You can write well because communication is not just about speaking, but it's also in the emails you write, is in the letters that you write, is in the non-verbal communication as well, the cues, the physical, maybe the way you're seated, how you gesticulate, all of those things. It's important that you own your communication skills, both verbal, non-verbal, written, all of that. It's important you're able to own it. So even if it's just that one particular thing that will make you stand out of your peers at work or in your relationship, it's going to be great for you to be able to understand how to communicate. In fact, these things will help you in interviews. It will help you professionally. It will help you your presentation skills. It will help you, say you're in sales, it will help you. Like communication is a great skill that you have to have as an individual. And it will, for critical thinking is one of the key things that is required. But sometimes when we go to school, you just learn. It's like you read and then you just give you verbatim to the lecturer. There's no point of critical thinking, which is why it's important to apply whatever learnings, whereby you can now think through, because the point of you reflecting is the point whereby you are applying you are thinking critically about what could have gone better, what could I have done better, and that will now be applied into your everyday life because you're able to ask people, oh, how did you come about? What's the basis of this point that you have made? What is the evidence? Where is the evidence? What is backing up? What is the research, right? You can think critically, right, in your relationships, in your work itself, as in your professional life. So that's just human skills. Then digital skills, we talk third points on digital literacy, digital, what's it called, analytics, like data analytics, all of those things, AI awareness. Do you know how to use ChatGPT? Do you know how to use Cloud AI? Just go on there and try it out. You don't even need to know it. Like I said, give yourself permission to fail. Go on there and try them out, right? And then if it's now that you now take a course on them to make you better, are you fluent with tech? If you are not, it's fine. That's the first point to start. How do you become fluent? Then your self-skill, learning how to learn, that is an important skill, which is the key skill that will help you develop all of the skills that we have here, because you have to be committed to learning. If you're not committed to learning, then what are we saying about growth? Right? So another thing is you have to be disciplined and have a curious mindset. All of these things are important. One important skill out of everything that will help you learn at least one thing out of all of these things is learning how to learn, because you have to be committed to yourself, because before you are committed to other people. So you have to understand how to learn. So I just have one individual exercise for you. If you have a notepad beside you, you can just write this out. On a scale of 1 to 5, so I'm going to ask a question. Just give yourself like a 1, or you can type it in the chat box as well. Just type in the chat box. My first question is, how quickly do I learn new things? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being, oh, the best, that I learn quickly, 5 being the least. On a scale of 1 to 5, how quickly do you learn? And be honest with yourself. Okay, so I have Dr. Shariza said 5, Mark said 4. Okay, great. Okay, so I have a couple of 4s. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing. So it's important that you also identify that. So the next question is, how often do I invest in learning? 1 being, okay, so Poga said 1 to 4, 2 to 5. Okay, 3 to 3. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how often do I invest in learning? 1 being the least, 5 being the highest. Do you invest in learning that much? Okay, so I see somebody put 5. Okay. So you invest in learning a lot. And if it's a 2 or it's a 1, the whole point is ensure that you are committed and you invest in yourself, because being committed to learning is about you investing in yourself, seeing yourself as a priority that you want to get better. So, okay, so someone said, can I ask how much longer will this session continue? Okay, so I think someone will reply you. Okay, so I have a couple of 2, 4, 4. Okay, so how adaptable am I? Great. So all of this is just to dare you to ensure that you learn better. You are committed to learning. You are your own, what's it called? You're your own person. So you have to be committed to your learning. You're the person that will help you become better. Nobody is coming to save you, really. The more you learn, the better you become in your profession, the better you become to your job, the better you become in your relationship with others. You're the one that will reap the benefits. So please ensure that you get better. So now I think I have a couple of just few slides to run through. So practical ways to stay updated and relevant. What are the practical ways that you stay updated and relevant as a HR professional, as a cybersecurity professional? First thing is that you take micro courses and professional certifications. Okay, so this is the career path that I've selected. I want to be a recruiter. I want to be a learning and development professional. I want to be HR generalist. I want to be an HR coordinator. Identify your career path. Now, look through what are the professional certifications that are required in that particular field that you have chosen. Which of that will you take? So if it's HR, there are a couple of certifications. I'm sure that there is one in your country. In the UK, it's CIPD. In Nigeria, I know it's CIPM. There are a couple of professional certifications in your country, particularly in HR, if you're in HR. Identify those professional certifications and then take steps. Find out, how do I take this course? Just first find out how much does it cost, how long does it take to complete the certification. It's important. Those are the ways that you become relevant, because these things give you credibility, right? So take micro courses, participate in webinars and industry-related communities. So once you have those certifications, identify the maybe like the HR communities. Say CIPD, CIPD has a lot of HR events that you can be a part of. Sometimes it's online, sometimes it's physical. Just ensure that you're committed. You can say that in a quarter, I want to attend at least one HR-related webinar or one industry-related webinar. Just ensure that you stay relevant, because that's how you stay relevant. Then read research reports, articles, industry updates. I know there's Harvard Business Review around HR. Just keep yourself updated, because it's not just about your country as well. Although you are local, you might want to learn about things in your local environment, particularly around maybe employment laws, but also think around the global sense of it. Read things around the global areas, like maybe like learning and development, how to hold one-on-one sessions with managers, or just ensure there are different topics that you can learn. And I know that there's also another body called HRCI Institute. They have old webinars literally every day from time to time. So once you take that professional certification, you belong to a community, an industry-related community. Then also seek mentorship and peer learning. Look at your immediate environment. So you can also go on LinkedIn, identify people that are in the field, in the space that you want to be, that you can see yourself in them, and reach out to learn from them, and you want to learn from them. And you can also learn from your peers as well, the people that you work with. So practice continuous self-assessment is important, because how you become better is you do a self-check consistently. Oh, this is what I did. This is how I could become better. Have I achieved my goals for this quarter? Have I achieved my goals for this year? What are the things that will help me become better in my HR skills, in my HR field, or in the whatever industry that you belong? Just ensure that you continually appraise yourself, do a self-assessment. So what's the first step learning action? So this is the first step learning that or this is the first step approach I'm going to leave with you in how to learn. So right now, we've talked about different things. Probably you want to learn emotional intelligence. You just identify a skill gap. Maybe you could become a better communicator. Say you have room of improvement in maybe like Excel, PowerPoint. You want to understand how to create slides. Just identify a skill gap that is in line with your own field, with your own industry. Then pick like at least 30 minutes. Start with 30 minutes. Don't even select 1 hour. What are the things? I just learn something new. 30 minutes daily around that skill gap. It could be that you want to take a course. It could be that you want to read a book. It could be that you want to belong to a podcast that you will be learning. Just learn 30 minutes daily on that particular subject matter. Then apply it weekly. Do you want to write a LinkedIn post? Do you want to identify a particular situation that you want to apply your emotional intelligence, whatever skill gap it is? You want to generate a report after you've learned maybe like Power BI or Excel. Apply it weekly, because the more you apply it, the better you get. Now, take it a notch higher. Teach someone monthly. The more, if you remember, when you were in secondary school or you were in high school, say there's a particular mathematics course or topic that you taught someone, you see you become better at it the next time you actually, because you remember it better. Just take that principle, apply it to this. Look for somebody to teach. You might not have one-on-one person. You can take a call. You can, create a LinkedIn post around what you learned. The more you apply it, the more you teach people, the better you become. So it could be that you create a LinkedIn post. It could be that you hold like a webinar for people, maybe like HR youngsters. You could just look for an avenue to pass the knowledge on to someone, and you become better at it. So now we have gotten to an action or commitment phase. We've gotten to an action or what's it? I want you to type in the chat box. Think through everything that we've discussed. Think through your career path. Think through what you do. What is one skill that you will start learning this month? Please put it in the chat box. What is one skill that you will start learning this month? Please drop it in the chat box. Okay. Please drop it in the chat box. Okay, someone said, can you share the slides later? Yeah, I'll share it with Janet. Okay, okay, Dr. Shariza says CCAIO. Great. Okay, Certified Chief, I believe that's a certification. All the best in doing that. Shakila said reading extensive book and leadership. Just ensure that you pick one particular book. Don't just write reading a leadership book. Identify one particular book on leadership that you read. Ruma said AI Python language. Okay, great. What will you do? Will you take a course? Just ensure that you stay committed to your learning. Okay, Obiageli said communication skills. Thank you. Okay, Jonah said data analytics. Okay. Choice said video editing. Great. It's so good to see everyone type this. Zainab also said Python course. So good. Marcus said HR analytics. So good. So I see that a couple of us are interested in the soft skills and also the tech skills. It's so good. One thing I'll just encourage you to do is once you have selected, please mute your mic. Thank you. One thing I'll just encourage you to do, so now that you have selected one skill, now take it a notch higher, ensure that you look for the avenue that you learn it. Is it with a professional body? Just ensure that you break the decision that you have made down into actionable steps. That's how it will become achievable. So I'm going to register for this course. Okay, so I will ensure that I take at least 30 minutes learning on this particular course daily, maybe like 5 times a week or 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be big, like a big goal. The more you stay consistent with it, the more it becomes achievable. And I wish you all the best in that. And so I'll leave you with the fact that continuous learning is the engine of career growth. For you to grow in your career and become better in your job or in your field, you have to stay learning and upskill today and lead tomorrow. So wish you all the best. So if you have any question, I'll leave it for the moderator to take over from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abimbola. That was genuinely insightful. We now have a few minutes for questions, and I can see several have come through in the chat already. Let us open the floor. So if your questions come up, please feel free to unmute and engage directly. And if yours do not get today, know that the conversation continues. So the first question was from Gina. What is passive consumption?
Okay, so that's the example I gave about you say you're taking an online course on LinkedIn Learning, right? And then you're just sitting and watching the course. Like you're not taking notes, you're not taking jottings that you can review at the end of the course. So you're just taking the course without really applying, like without really learning. And then at the end of the day, you have a certificate. You can upload the certificate that you finished the course. But no learning really took place because nothing really changed in you and you're not applying it anywhere. So that's what passive consumption is. So you move away from passive consumption from being active. Take jottings, learn, ensure you apply whatever learnings. You can write a LinkedIn Learn post, talk about it in your meetings, apply it in your work, right? And so you move from passive to being an active learner. I hope that answers your question.
And second question, could you tell what is EDX?
Okay, so it's a learning, what's it called? An online learning platform. You can just type it on Google. You'll see it will come up. I think you have to subscribe to be able to use it. So there are different courses, like different ranges of courses on there, like online courses, could be from HR. Just type EDX on Google. You see there is an online platform that you can learn several things. It's just like
And,
Coursera, all those courses. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
So the third question is saying, how do you identify your niche when every new skill feels more interesting than the last? Being part of Women Ascension has expanded my interest, but it also makes focus more challenging. How do you choose where to specialize?
Okay, so how do you choose where to specialize? So I'm going to throw that question back to you. What's it called? What really are you interested in? So you have been exposed to different things. Out of everything that you have been exposed to, although I'm not very familiar with, is it that you've been exposed to HR, you've been exposed to cybersecurity, you've been exposed to all of that? So now that you've been exposed to so what career path are you going to select? Now, this question is very broad. I don't know if to focus in on HR or if to focus in on, different parts. But now that you've been exposed to all of it, which are you most interested in? Which is in line with with probably your years of experience or your education, as it were, which really it's really about your interest, because it's not me that would help you select that. It's you about selecting the areas that you selecting the niche that you're interested in. So if it's HR that you have been exposed to, and you have been exposed to probably recruitment, you've been exposed to learning and development, you've been exposed to maybe like HR administration, all of that. It's about you finding the area that you have interest in, because that's what will spur you to become to become like a leader in that field. So for me, I know I chose learning and development. I got exposed to HR because it was my first role after school. And then I chose learning and development because I've always wanted to be a lecturer since I was in university. And then I discovered that, I don't have to teach in the four walls of a university. I can also work in a firm and be their their training professional in there. So mine is just that I want to pass on learning. And then I saw that in learning and development that I could train people. And that was why I selected learning and development. And that's like where I've spent. And so that's the area that I've been building. I've had like about 3 certifications. I've done, attended different industry related conferences and what have you. So that's the niche that I chose. Sometimes your niche finds you. Sometimes you select the niche that you are in, but it's really about your interest, because that's what will guide you throughout. So I don't know if I answered you, but it's really about your interest.
So the last question, when we try to consume too much information, our brain can't take it. So should we limit our brains to what it can consume or go beyond limits?
So it's really not you limiting your brain, but it's you. So there are two parts of it. You expose your mind to different things, but you teach your mind to also be able to select and and limit what really impacts you or what affects you. So it's important that you expose it so that you're familiar with different subjects, you're familiar with different subject matters and what have you, whereby it's not just, I'm a medical doctor and that's the only thing I know. I'm in HR and that's the only thing I know. It's important that you expose yourself, be open to learning, be open-minded about things, but also identify that even with the way that I'm exposed to a lot of information, you select the one that is most important to you. So even with the way you've been exposed to different, maybe like career paths or different things, choose out of all of the ones that you've been exposed to and focus on one thing. Because all you just need to do is to focus on one thing. And the more you build yourself in focusing on one of those things that you have been exposed to, the more you become credible. People will begin to see you as an authority in that field. So yeah, so you're the one that determines, expose yourself to things, but choose out of all of those things that you've been exposed and become a master at one thing out of it.
So since that's the last question, and on that note,
Okay.
we bring today's session to a close. But not before we take a moment, because this deserves more than a quick goodbye. Abimbola, thank you so much once again. Not just for the depth of what you shared today, but for the way you shared it with clarity, generosity, and a genuine desire to see people grow. You brought nearly a decade of hard-earned experience into this room and gave it freely. This is not something we take for granted, and it is not something this audience will forget. On behalf of Women Ascension and every person who joined us today, we are truly grateful to each of you here, whether you are a seasoned HR practitioner or someone just beginning to find your footing. I hope today's conversation lit something in you, a new commitment to learning, a clearer picture of where your skills need to grow, or simply a reminder that staying relevant is a choice an inclusive leadership series very soon. A new topic, a new mentor, and another space built for conversations that matter. Stay connected, stay curious, and watch this space. Because in a world that keeps moving, the ones who keep learning are the ones who keep leading. Thank you all until next time. Thank you all for joining once again.
Thank you so much, Christabel, and thank you so much, Ms. Abimbola, for this amazing session. The chat box was filled with amazing comments, and they have been thanking you for this amazing session. So thank you so much, Ms. Abimbola, for making it so engaging and talking about it in such a way that it was relatable to everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the privilege.
Thank you so much. So everyone, we will meet with another session on 2nd April, I hope so. For the next session, for the next week, we are not going to have any session, but we will have one. We will have the rest of the 3 sessions in the series in April. So we hope to conclude the series by 16th April. So I hope you guys will stay connected with us till then, and you guys will keep on learning and keep on growing as you are doing right now. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying connected and participating in this series, because your commitment and your engagement makes it a success. And we are very happy for you guys to be here. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, Liddy. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. No.